I enjoy cooking on my outdoor propane grill, but it's time to give low and slow a try. I recently decided to add to my outdoor cooking toolkit and got a Pit Boss Pro Series 850 pellet grill. I did a fair amount of research to help in making a good choice for me. There are several choices in the pellet grill marketplace, and the top brands have loyal followings, so you can be pretty sure that any of the big name grills will do you well. I chose the Pit Boss series available at Lowe's. I got the 850 square inch model as I figured that since most of my cooking will be for small groups, the cost difference and pellet usage added value to my choice. The Pit Boss heavy gauge steel was also a factor in my choice. Let's take a look at how you'll get your Pit Boss put together. First, the box it comes in is heavy. The instructions suggest having a helper for the assembly. That's not required, but it's advisable. I got mine put together by myself, but getting the left rear leg on was a challenge. Holding the leg in place and then reaching around and into the cooking chamber to thread the bolt was, well, nearly impossible. Having someone around, even a child, would have made a huge difference. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning. The instructions ask you to lay out and identify all the parts. As you can see here, I used a table in my garage. The small parts are all mounted in plastic bubbles affixed to a piece of cardboard. All the primary assembly for the Pit Boss 850 is completed when you get your smoker home. The smoker barrel and pellet hopper are attached to the electronics and the auger system is in place. As you can see in this picture, the fire pot is in the barrel, so there's no electrical or auger assembly necessary. The parts you will be assembling are the legs, bottom shelf, door support, side shelf, and fold-up shelf. All of these elements are connected with bolts that fit into pre-positioned nuts or fittings mounted on the smoker. For most subassemblies, leave the bolts a bit loose to allow the parts to move a bit when aligning the companion parts. When the subassembly is completed, go back and tighten all the bolts. The instructions are very good and lead you step by step through the assembly process. The only step that took a second look was attaching the fold-up tray on the front. The left and right support brackets weren't labeled, so take a minute to visualize how the shelf and locking stud will work with the brackets. With a helper, getting the smoker assembled can be done in about an hour of slow, deliberate assembly. When you've gotten the smoker assembled, the next step involves some testing and burn-off. The smoker runs on electricity and has an electronic controller. One reason I chose this model is that it has the second generation of what are called PID controllers. PID stands for Proportional Integrated Derivative Controller. These devices are used in industrial controllers in many different kinds of settings. In the case of the smoker, the PID controller is set for the temperature and smoke level you want, and then it senses the temperature in the smoker and makes decisions regarding fan speed and pellet feeding. This is a much better way to ensure that the temperature in your smoker stays very close to what you've selected without having to open and close the smoker barrel to check. Frequent checks release heat and slow things down. One old saying is that if you're looking, you're not cooking. To test the smoker's electronics, the instructions ask you to take out the grill grates and heat diffuser and turn on the smoker without pellets. You'll observe the igniter to see that it starts to get hot and place your hand near the fire pot to feel the air being forced by the fan is starting to get warm. Once you've confirmed the heating system is working, you'll turn off the smoker, add pellets, turn the controller back on, and prime the auger and do the burn off. The auger moves very slowly, so be prepared to hold the prime button on the controller for several minutes while it moves pellets the 18 inches or so from the hopper to the fire bowl. When you see pellets dropping into the bowl, place the heat diffuser and grates back into the smoker. When you've got a good fire in the fire pot, close things up and set the temperature as directed in the instructions and let it go for 45 minutes to an hour. This will burn off any oils or solvents used during the manufacturing process. At this point, you're ready to cook. As with any new tool, you'll likely need to practice a bit. If you're new to smoking meats, you'll need to develop a different set of habits and mindsets, as low and slow cooking is different than high and fast. The good news is that there are lots of YouTube videos done by some really good cooks and presenters that can have you preparing great cooks with very few fails. I'm loving my new Pit Boss smoker, and I've made a point to try a variety of foods and not just fall into a smoker rut by just doing pulled pork and ribs. As these pictures show, I've done beer can chicken, pizza, ribs, steak, and of course, pulled pork. Cooking with a pellet grill will give you much of the same smoky flavor of offset smokers for traditional smoker items, along with the flexibility to do more traditionally grilled foods such as you might do on a propane or charcoal direct heat grill. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please click the thumbs up button below the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy smoking.